Meta Planet started acquiring Bitcoin in July of 2024, so 1 year ago. So in just 15 months alone, they've stacked up a staggering 17,132 BTC. Less than 15 months. I don't know what Cointelegraph is stating here, but this should really tell you how big companies across the globe are wanting to gain as much exposure to BTC. Obviously it's not happening within every company, of course, but we're starting to see it happening more than we could have imagined a few years back, and that should really ring a bell to how fast this accumulation is really happening for BTC. But welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel, to the XRP holders. Appreciate you guys as always. Happy Sunday wherever you are around the world. Looking across the market, finally starting to see some sort of excitement, within the crypto space. Pretty much since the start of the month, we haven't really seen, some green day for the crypto space, but we're starting to see that happening right now. Over the last 1 hour, you are starting to see the market really feel the love. So, so far so good, but we need to keep in mind we're still in a weekend. On the weekends, CME futures are closed, so we need to keep those factors in mind. But XRP is at let's actually give it a refresh live. So XRP is down about 3.2%, in USD comparative over the last 24 hours. Also about 3.2% in Bitcoin comparative as well, with the price currently sitting at $2.87. Valuation 169.8 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume still sitting at about 6.3 billion. Quite impressive, even considering that we're in a weekend. You still are seeing extensive amount of volume for XRP. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So monthly exchange volume hits $1.77 trillion in July. It hasn't been this high since February of this year, which of course tells us we're starting to see excitement kicking in, something we've been emphasizing on the channel quite a bit. And right now, a lot of people are more focused on the price going down, but not realizing how great of a month July really was for the space. But we are seeing things happening. We are seeing bullish momentum coming in the space, even though we're seeing a retracement right now. I personally believe that we are in this upwards trajectory, and we will see more upside coming in the future, near future, of course. So shout out to Chad saying 6 days of XRP longs have been completely wiped out. Of course, I think this was part of the game. The reason why BTC came down to these levels, I think, is due to a shakeout, which is very much needed. Nothing's gonna go up straight forever. We will see major pullbacks, and we have seen about a 7% pullback for BTC since July 31st, which is quite a large pullback in Bitcoin standard. So when you see that happening, and with the way the dominance has gone up, it shouldn't be a surprise as to what we are seeing across the market right now. So anyone that's surprised right now, I hope you guys take a look at the dominance and BTC. That will answer all your concerns right then and there. But take a look at this: SBI to launch new over-the-counter crypto services as SBI Securities in August 2025. So an over-the-counter CFD service for crypto asset is scheduled to launch in late August. In addition to stock indices and commodities, this new investment method will target a broad customer base. Huge stuff. And this is not just happening within the US. This is not just happening within in North America. This is happening globally, and this right here is a perfect example. Why are they launching it? Because they know digital assets are really hot. A lot of people want exposure to that. Big corporations want exposure to it, and when it comes to the Japanese market, I think they could really target that really nicely with this. Let me know your thoughts down below in regards to this. And the reason why we're sharing this is because, of course, SBI is a huge partner with Ripple, and they have obviously supported XRP quite extensively, and this right here is a very, very large move. But take a look at what Cobb says. I totally agree with what Cobb says. Not falling for the BlackRock retail panic. XRP is in the best position it has ever been, fundamentally and in the regulatory clearance side. Totally agree with that. Just got full support of the market from the SEC, and he's pretty much saying that he's not selling his XRP, and I totally agree with that. If the money that you're sitting at right now, it's just too much that you cannot afford to lose. If that's the case, and you're just like, losing sleep at this point because the money's too much that you cannot afford to lose, then it is good to lock in profits. I mean, you're overly invested. But if the funds that you're in for the next long haul, you're in for the next 5-10 years, then there's no point in panicking during times like these. Especially if you have the long horizon, right? Obviously, time is the most important factor. If we see the amount of positivity, and these big news that we're hearing, these major partnerships, and I cannot imagine what could happen in the next 5 to 10 years. Where the crypto space could be then, because of course we're still in the early stages when it comes to crypto going mainstream. I think ETFs are still very new. You're still only seeing two spot ETFs when it comes to the bigger markets, and that's ETH and BTC. We're still not seeing XRP and other digital assets. We haven't even seen any indexes launching. So the sky's the limit at this point. So if you're in for the long haul, then you just want to actually hold, for the long term, and patience is your number one key to follow. As long as you've done your due diligence, research, and have invested what you can afford to lose, because times like this will happen. You might be even worse than this if you've been in this space for quite some time. I'm sure you guys are familiar that this market could be extremely volatile. Shout out to the OGs here. But that's part of the game. So this is where your exit strategy comes into play. Even if you're in for the long horizon, that doesn't mean the price is just going to continuously go up. Maybe have some profits that you're going to be locking in, because when times do come where you do see pullbacks, that's where you scale back in, and obviously dollar cost average into your positions. But take a look at this. Ripple's strategic rationale for hidden road acquisition: expand institutional grade trading and integrate RLUSD. So pretty much what this means, if you guys are confused at this, is that Ripple, of course, bought Hidden Road. So that was to help a bigger institutions, bigger financial institutions, with crypto trading services. That was pretty much the main goal. So what was the goal? It is to make it easy. It's make it easy for them to use the likes of RLUSD and other, of course, crypto services that Ripple will be providing with Hidden Road. So again, the timing is perfect, right? Timing is perfect, and of course, with the major amounts of interest that's coming in, it just all sums up, and everything is just adding up. So those are things that we don't want to be forgetting. And shout out to Smoke saying Ripple pursues the federal master account to allow RLUSD reserves to be held directly in the central banking system. And Mr. Mann says this right here is a CBDC backed stablecoin arrangement. What makes this arrangement a synthetic CBDC and CBDC backed arrangement is the fact that the stablecoin is backed or collateralized by central bank digital currencies or reserves held at central banks. Ripple is going to gain access to the Fed's master account for use. Do you not think that they want to own or have a part ownership in the currency they will be using? RLUSD will be backed by the central bank money. Count on it. And that's according to Mr. Man. Do let me know your thoughts down below. But now let's talk about the price. If you're looking at the dominance, it is showing a lot of strength. And I don't like, honestly, where the dominance is currently sitting, but I obviously need to factor in, what has happened with BTC, and we're still in a weekend, but you want to see the dominance, pulling below 61.8%. Very, very important. If you're looking at BTC, on the other hand, we touched right at the neckline of the 112,000. Your boy was talking to you guys about this for quite some time. We have seen, quite a nice bounce since then, but we're still not out of the woods just yet. Even though we're seeing a little bit of a push towards the upside, still not out of the woods. Could still potentially go back down to even the likes of 107, and that wouldn't be a surprise because based off of where we are right now for BTC. But if you're looking at XRP's price right now, $2.87 right now. We're facing some resistance, which was our yearly high last year at $2.90. And look where we got supported by, though. We came down when Bitcoin did retest the 112,000. Something, again, I've emphasized on the channel over the last few updates. So again, shout out to you guys that follow the channel. We touch right at the neckline. We do have significant amount of support around here, but we have seen a bounce since then. So a nice bounce, of course, but $3 is the level I'm keeping in my eyes out. You guys know the significance of that key range, psychological level, and I do anticipate that level to be retested quite easy, but you want to see the dominance pulling down. Very, very important. Let me know down below what you guys think. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.